up. In focus now, Kat Timpf, Fox News contributor and author of the new book, You Can't Joke About That. This is fabulous, by the way.
Thank you so much.
Congratulations. We'll get into more of it. I got to touch on this. I mean, and you don't have to have children to have a feeling. We were children. Can you imagine at 15 getting surgery and your parents not knowing?
No, and that's why this is so wild to me, because, I mean, on a basic level, I believe that children are their parents' children. They don't belong to the state, just overall. I also just don't see how this is possible. Regardless of what you think about this issue, how would a parent not know that a child was going through something like this? I mean, basically, your child can just run away and be gone, and if they're not telling you why, then you know why. Because this is something that parents have to know about just logistically, regardless of the fact that I think it's crazy to have children be making permanent decisions when they're minors.
Who will love them?
Right.
Who will love them in that environment where people are sticking needles in their arms and going to have permanent gender, and we don't even know what the long term of that is.
Right.
But they're getting major surgeries, and we won't be there to hold them.
Right.
Like, who thinks this is a good idea?
I don't understand who thinks this is a good idea or a even possible idea. Like I said, these are major surgeries with some recovery time involved. There's no way that you're going to be able to do this without your parents knowing you're doing this.
That's a good point. I mean, the recovery. So what, they stay out of state? They stay out of your home for some time?
Right, and then you have no idea where your child is and they can't tell you. That does not seem right.
And logistically, I mean, do they become guardians then? Like, how is that even going to work? What if something goes wrong with the surgery?
Exactly. Then what if something goes wrong with the surgery? Exactly. I mean, parents have to know about these kinds of things. Even just logistically, it's not possible. Or else you can't really say your kids are your kids.
No, it's so true. Look, this seems to be happening simultaneously with something else that's going on. Going woke, going broke. Companies learning that, no joke, now more corporations are pushing back on woke leftist ideologies. eGuard watch brand, I don't know if you caught this over the weekend, they had a viral campaign with the hashtag erased, writing, "Our ad response to woke corporate America, we are a company that believes in the truth." Watch this with me, Kat.
I got this little nugget of an idea from my dad. He used to watch me run and say, "Ain't no woman alive that can beat you." And I believed him. I was an unstoppable force, a life dedicated to perfection. But even perfection wouldn't be enough.
Arkansas Governor Sarah Sanders with this video featuring strong women leaders. It's titled, "We Like Our Beer Cold, Not Woke." She's selling a beer cozy with the words "real women" on it. It stresses the importance of acknowledging truth when it comes to gender, showing all those who served in the military, so on and so forth. Kat.
Yeah, I think that there is this idea that if you're in this bubble, you think that people only think one way, right? I also think a lot of the marketing has been a little bit lazy, right? Like, okay, we want to show we're inclusive, therefore we'll put someone who is trans in this ad, whether that person as an individual fits the brand or not. And Bud Light, I wouldn't say that Dylan Mulvaney fits the brand. I think that there's this important difference between sensitivity and the thought of you can't have any different opinion or express that you might question certain things without being an irredeemable, awful human being. To me, that's not sensitivity. Shutting people up isn't the same as getting them to agree with you. That's not, you can't change people's hearts and minds that way. And a lot of people feel more bullied, I think, by some of this stuff, which isn't really going to help anybody.
That's interesting, too.
Yeah,
I mean, have we taken it from the perspective of young girls and boys who are athletes and going through transition and dealing with all of those emotions and then watching the world fight as if they're not even welcome in the conversation?
Right, or equating certain questions about biology of somebody who goes through puberty as a male, having different advantages, things like their bone structure being different, having concerns about that when it comes to sports, equating that with transphobia is not really accurate, and it shuts down the conversation, which we should be having.
Excellent point. One other thing, too. So you see it from corporations, you see it in the politics now. Do you anticipate this is going to be a topic in 2024?
I think it's going to have to be a topic in 2024. It's a topic here for us pretty much every day. I think it absolutely is. And I think that people are more interested in, shutting people down and saying that's not acceptable to think that or to say that. That's not going to stop people from thinking certain things that they want to think. That's not a conversation, and we should be having a conversation.
Well, critics are tearing into former White House Press Secretary Jen Psaki for her softball interview with the climate czar, John Kerry. Psaki, here she is. They were, playing softball with her former boss, ice cream included.
The planet is at risk. I mean, it is at risk.
Now, I remember well that you have a bit of a sweet tooth. Do you want to go get some ice cream over there?
That would be
Let's do
hitting the nail on the head.
Okay. I know you like Forrest Gump a little bit. Does this remind you, you've lived a life a little bit like Forrest Gump?
I've had some Forrest Gump moments. God, every time I'm around here, I always think of him screaming to Jenny in the pool over here.
What does that even mean?
I don't know.
Well, Forrest Gump was in the military. He saved lives. I mean, he ran around the world. He didn't take private planes. Like, what is he even talking about?
No, it was such a softball interview. My favorite part of that interview was the part where she says, you've traveled more miles than any other Secretary of State. And it didn't come up that means he has the biggest carbon footprint of any Secretary of State. It was very easy, and I'm not a reporter, but it'd be very easy to think of things that you could ask, okay, well, then why do you have so many miles if you're the environmentalist guy? But they just sat there and ate ice cream and basically talked about how great each other were, which isn't really journalism.
No, it's buddyism. And look, I love it when people have friends. I think that's great. But then just don't call it something else. Look, before we go, we have to talk about, you can't joke about that, the impetus for writing this.
So I've noticed that every tough thing that I've been through, and I've been through a lot of things that I detail in the book, it's never been made easier by these rules for speech that have been put in place, that are purportedly put in place to protect people in sensitive or difficult situations. Because then in addition to going through something difficult, I felt like people were weird around me. They couldn't really talk to me like a normal person. I think that the only way we're ever going to really get to understand each other, and this goes back to a lot of what we've been talking about, is being able to fully express ourselves too.
I love it. I love it. Why everything is funny, nothing is sacred, and we're all in it together. God bless you.
Comedy leads to connections.
This is going to be good.
Thank you.
All right. Thanks for watching. The Faulkner Focus Outnumbered is next.
Hey everyone, I'm Emily Campagno. Catch me and my co-hosts Harris Faulkner and Kaylee McEnany on Outnumbered every weekday at 12 p.m. Eastern, or set your DVR. Also, don't forget to subscribe to the Fox News YouTube page for daily highlights.